Hey guys, Shawn Van Dyke here. Let's run through this pricing exercise on how just a business guy, I'm not a custom furniture maker, but how a business guy would price and sell these tables. Let me know what you think.
All right, folks, I'm going to price out how long I think it's going to take to assemble this shaker table. So the project is shaker table, and let's take a look at what it takes to do one table. Okay, so first of all, we're going to prep the lumber, and I assume that's going to take an hour. Then we're going to fabricate the base once we have all that lumber prepped, and that's going to be about an hour and a half. Then we're going to fabricate the top, and let's say that's going to take us an hour to fabricate the top. Drawers, now this isn't building the drawers, this is probably just dialing in the opening and the things that are associated with the drawer opening. Let's say that's about a half an hour. Then we're going to assemble everything. Assemble, and that's going to be another half an hour to assemble it. Then we're going to prep for the finishes, and I'm going to give myself an hour to prep for the finishes because things are going to start to slow down. And then I'm going to apply the finish to one table. Let's say that that's 2 hours. So when I add all of these up, 1, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, I come up with 7.5 hours for one table. Now I'm not going to do a whole lot of deeper analysis on this and just say, okay, if that's how long it takes me to do one, building another one isn't going to take me quite as long. So I'm going to say it's about half, so let's just call it 4 hours. So that gives me a total, when I add these up, we've got 11.5 hours of shop time to build 2 tables. Okay, let's start pricing this out. So we've got 11.5 hours to build 2 tables. I'm going to assume that if we had an employee that we're going to hire to do this, they will probably be, I'd have to pay them about $35 an hour for their skill level in order to build these tables. So $35 an hour, and then I need to make sure I add in my labor burden, the cost of employing that person. And I'm just gonna assume, this is a big assumption here, but I'm assuming that it's 25%. That right there is my labor burden. And when I multiply all this out, I get a cost of $503.13. Okay, that is for my labor, but I've got to figure out some cost of some other things. So let's take a look at the cost of the supplies and the materials. For drawers, let's say the cost of those drawers for 2 drawers, this is for 2 drawers, let's say it's $75. Whether you're building them or you're purchasing them from specific door manufacturer. I'm gonna throw that in there. Then we're gonna say supplies, not much, probably about 2.5% of the total cost. Let's put $15 in there for supplies. Glue, screws, sandpaper, nails, all that kind of good stuff. Then we're going to have our finishing materials. Again, I'm making a big assumption here. Let's say that there's $100 worth of finishing materials, and then the lumber itself, let's say that that's $75. Okay, when I add up all of these costs plus my labor cost, so I'm adding up my labor plus all of this stuff, I come up with a total cost equal to $768.13. Okay, that is my cost. Now I need to develop my price, and I'm going to take my cost, and so priced is equal to your, there we go, markup times our cost. And in this example, I'm going to say that we need a markup of 60%. So 1.6 times my cost of $768.13. That's going to give me a price of $1,229.00. So that is my price for 2 shaker tables. Now, let's figure out what it's going to take, the cost for just one. This is my time, 11.5 hours to build the two tables. And if we remember from back here, we said building just one of them was going to be 7.5 hours. So let's use that to price out what one of them is going to be. So 11.5 hours for 2, we say 7.5 hours in labor for 1. So we apply that same pricing equation. So we have 7.5 hours times $35 an hour is what we're going to pay our employee, times the labor burden of 1.25 or 25% labor burden, and I get a cost of $328.13. Now let's take a look at our materials and supplies. And again, before we had $75 and $15. That's $90 plus $100 in finished material. So that's $190. I'm going to say about half of that. Let's say that materials and supplies were $95. Again, that is the $190 that we had from 2 tables divided by 2. And we're going to say the lumber, maybe it's not as efficient or whatever, or maybe a little bit more efficient. Let's say that the lumber is $35. So now we're going to add up our cost. $328 plus 95 plus 35 gives us $458.13. Now I'm going to apply my markup to that of 1.6, and that will give me a price of $733.00. I'm going to just add a couple of bucks because the 5 minutes or so it took me to run this out and say price for one is $735. That's for 1 table. And we know from before our price for 2 tables is going to be $12.29. That's how I price it.